Ooh, right. Whoa, we got ourselves a flying ship. Sweet. And a gnome to drive it. The little creature jumps as you approach. Hoy there! Stand back. I have an entropic transducer and I'm not afraid to use it. Dude, you stand back. Yeah! The creature smacks the ground with a metallic implement. I don't have an entropic transducer. I have nothing of value and I definitely don't want to fight. I'm a lover of science, not brainless violence, no offense. Love it already. Also, this music is exceptional. That's alright, I don't want to fight either. I didn't say I love violence. Yeah. I've had enough fighting for one day so far. The creature relaxes. Thank goodness! I was beginning to think this place was populated by nothing but mean, dim-witted ooze pukes. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Brax, first-class navigator of the Exalted Gyronauts, 2nd Cog Division. The creature puffs his chest up, clearly proud over his rank. How did you get a ship over here? Actually, no. What are you? Rude question, don't you think? What are you? The creature smiles, only pulling your conveyor belt. In your language, you'd call me a gnome. Exactly. We got ourselves a gnome. I didn't know gnomes were real. Most people where I'm from might not believe humans are real. The gnome laughs, but quickly turns serious again. It's important to be able to believe in that which one cannot inspect with one's own peepers. Sign of a baseline adequate mind, you see? You got it. I'm in. I like this dude a lot so far. How'd you get a ship over here? By flying it, of course. Well, granted our technology is probably quite alien to you, eh? Must seem like magic. I mean, to be fair, your propellers are tiny compared to the size of your ship, so yes, I am a little curious as to how that's gonna work. Why are you here? Our seismic monitoring units detected some extraordinary subsurface tremors emanating from this very region. I've been on a handful of expeditions before, so I was sent to investigate. I didn't get very far though, no, not at all. Shot down in a manner most inconsiderate. What happened? I was approaching from the north, bearing towards the origin of the tremors. A little bit south of here, I was cruising at a low altitude when I went past a giant black tower. Curiosity got the better of me, and I got too close. Then bam! A white lightning from the top of the tower struck my ship, knocked out my prismatic aether coil, and my navigator to boot. I managed to crash land here. Can I help you somehow? 'Cause I would love a flying ship. That would be most splendid. Take this prismatic aether coil and get it repaired for me, please. It's not damaged badly, and any blacksmith here with the right tools ought to be able to straighten it out. I pray. In return, I offer to ferry you to some locations not easily accessible on foot. From a bird's eye view, I can assure you they would be very interesting to explore for an adventurer of your stature. Very interesting indeed. See, I like this guy. He already believes in me. One, he thinks I'm an adventurer of stature. Points in my book. Two, he's already offered me his prismatic aether core. I mean, come on. What more could you want in a pilot companion? Conquering the skies. I met a gnome named Brax, who was shot down over the snowy plains by a mysterious contraption on top of a black tower. So, excuse me, the black tower must be that thing that the Duke was making, right? Because somebody had brought up a tower down there. I don't remember who it was. Maybe it was the Master Slovo. Can't remember, but anyway, in return for repairing the coil, Brax promised to ferry me to a number of remote locations using his airship. I'm very excited to get this ship up and running, although I'm sure it'll take a while. That is a-okay. Cool little stone circle here. Oh, okay, some ruins. Quick spell selection. I don't know what that means. Hey. Broken prismatic aether coil. There in the corner. Previously, I was saying it from memory when it was right there. I also am a huge fan of this interface, to be honest. It's very, I don't know, it's, you know, there's everything important is readily accessible, you know, journal, straightforward, one click away, huge fan of that. Attacks are all right here. What you have for sort of your options for types of attacks and things like that are right there. Quest items are over here. Big fan. Is this the chronicler? We'll find out. Oh, quest the scholar is completed. The chroniclery. All right. Are you the librarian, janitor? A stern-looking woman stands near the entrance of this ancient library. Her clear eyes appraise you, and you find yourself softening your footsteps so as to not disturb the silence. Welcome to the chroniclery. Chroniclery. Her voice is a whisper, yet clear as crystal. The oldest and greatest collection of books in all of Ort, or at least it used to be. What happened? A combination of poor stewardship and a lack of appreciation for the written word is my inference. This used to be the most impressive collection of books in the world. Well, I suppose it still is, she scoffs, but it is a shadow of its former glory. How can I help? You look like an adventurer, perhaps even astute enough to appreciate the value of the written word, she smiles. If you find any books on your travels, bring them back here. Is there a reward? Oh, maps and fast travel, yes. There's not much I can offer. I found a repository of old documents. Maps, sea charts, musical notes, strange old scrolls. I would happily trade those in exchange for any books you may find. Here, why don't you take this? It's a map of the world. Supposedly, it has magic properties. How does it work? A thirst for knowledge is admirable. See these faded pins in the map? She pauses for a moment, a look of confusion on her face. That's strange. The pin next to the academy isn't faded anymore, but you're supposed to need to have magic to use the map. Oh, fortunately for us, I do have magic. Oh. She looks puzzled. Well then, the notes accompanying the map state that it can be used to instantaneously travel to certain fate spikes previously visited by the caster. That would be very useful indeed for someone with magical capabilities to exploit it. What is a fate spike? Fate spikes are large, orange, shimmering monuments scattered across Ort. They are thought to have been erected in worship of the sisters, but frankly, little of this information is verifiable through reputable sources. Some of them claim the fate spikes have truly fantastical properties. What are these properties? Well, the librarian reaches for a book and scans it for a few moments. This passage here claims that the fate spikes were actually placed by the sisters. They can purportedly be used to revitalize and heal weary and injured magicians, It also theorizes that particularly strong magicians could use them for instant travel and even to prevent death. Like I said, fantastical. Thanks. Come back anytime. With books, preferably. I like her. Okay, let's check out the map. Ho ho ho, my friends. This is a map. Question mark, question mark, question mark? Dormant cores. Wow. Russ. Shimmer Gem Coast, where that student was from. Triple question mark again. So, this is amazing. Oh, I wonder if this is probably a place you can only get by the airship, I would imagine. This is gorgeous. Love it. It's so... The thing I like about this map is it's very simplistic to a certain extent, right? Like, we don't have like a ton of detail, but we have just enough to really understand, like, okay, these are sort of like the grasslands areas. We've got some swamps over here, some sort of a bog. We've got a forest, mountain region with a hidden, like, something up there. I'm not really sure, but, like, you know, winter icelands up here, the rusts that we'd already talked about, and then the sort of crag area over here. It's beautiful too. Like, it's well done. You can see all the roads clearly from one spot to the next. Wow, beautiful. Okay. Nothing to touch over there. Nothing to pick up. Nothing to read. Oh. The woman sits reading a dusty old tome, a look of confusion on her face. What are you reading? It's this old book on magic. She shows the cover. Tabula Arcana, abridged version for the novice practitioner. She reads, as is customary, wizards prefer to expend as little effort as possible. Oh, sorry. As is customary, the wizards prefer to expend as little effort as possible. The imbuing process, as it relates to status effects cast on structures generated by the wizard, is a perfect example of this. What does that mean? She furrows her brow. It says that wizards could cast spells to put creatures to sleep or slow them down, that sort of thing, but it implies that the wizards were lazy and instead would create structures like turrets, totems, and walls. Then they would cast spells like Sleep or Slow on those structures, which would imbue them with the ability to inflict those effects on other creatures, so the wizards wouldn't have to. Okay. Seems like cool. Huh. Cool. Is this not a secret door? Yeah. Ho ho ho. What do we got here? Ooh. I do not have 10 mind coins. Don't have 10 mind coins yet, but good to know. Library has a sweet chest with glowiness and hopefully something fun inside. Good to know. What is this sparkle? Oh! Yeah! Definitely. Okay, wait. What does this do? This is something for later, probably, but it is something. Old man. Deckard. The old man stands absent-mindedly stroking his beard as he peruses a stack of dusty old tomes. Well met, young one. Let us converse. He pauses to put a finger over his mouth and nods to the chroniclerian. Quietly. What do you know about magic? Magic was a gift from the sisters to the people of Ort. Balance is the key. It drew on the very life force of the caster, thus requiring rest and recuperation in between spells. It had some spectacular and even violent uses, but truth be told, it was mostly used for mundane applications like agriculture and construction. Balance can be discerned in the interaction between the three sisters. Their magic is stronger and weaker relative to each other. As Asayuma's life force overwhelms the mind, yet fears the shadow. Mirakuria's mind banishes the shadow, though cannot withstand the force of life. Shao Malak's darkness destroys life, but is illuminated by the mind, so balance is maintained. What does this mean for you? Well, we are all aligned to a sister one way or another. Hit a foe with the correct sister's power and your attack will be multiplied. Hit them with the wrong one and your damage will be diminished. Okay, so we've got kind of a Pokemon thing going on here with, alright. The elements of magic. Remember, balance as you go. Using magic will hurt you, though it seems you can regain your strength much faster than a mere mortal by approaching one of the fate spikes. You should vary your spells too, for using the same one repeatedly will gradually hurt you more and more. That is good to know. Okay. So I'm assuming that 8 HP will eventually turn into 10 or even higher. What are those orange glimmering spikes? The old man rummages through his notes. I have been studying them for some time now, and it pleases me that my theories are beginning to be proven as truth. I believe that at the culmination of the cataclysm, the sisters defeated consumption, but not entirely. Instead, consumption was trapped underground. The fate spikes, I believe, are literal nails sealing the coffin of consumption. It would take a tremendous amount of power to achieve this. That would explain why magic disappeared from Ort centuries ago. Nearly all of the sisters' power was contained in the spikes. It also explains why you can regain your health when you approach them. It is your bond to the sisters that allows you to draw on the latent power in the spikes. If my theories are correct, then there must have been one primary spike underground, completing the seal. If consumption is let loose, it must be because the spike has been shattered. Since the epicenter of the events appear to be in Dormant Court, that is where I suspect the spike is located. If this is the case, you must seek out the fragments of the spike, reassemble it, and make it strong enough to hold consumption once more. Okay, so we've got our main quest so far. Deckard continues speaking excitedly about the spikes. I believe they are all connected in a network of nodes. If you acquire a map of from the chroniclerian, you should be able to instantaneously warp to certain places you have been before. Furthermore, now that you are linked to the spikes, you can use them to store your equipment, more equipment than you could possibly carry. Even attune your magic if you find something to help you do that. Just approach a spike to interact with it. Okay, cool. How can I improve my magic? The old man scratches his beard, thinking for a moment. Learning additional spells would be useful, but I could not begin to know how to achieve that. Perhaps there are some old records in Darkamendo, the Black Tower in the north. Otherwise, perhaps you might find some equipment with magical properties that might improve your abilities. Theoretically, you could align your resonance with certain energy patterns. This could increase your power as you gain momentum. That is hypothetical, of course. You would need some sort of instrument to achieve it. Okay, Magic's a little more complicated than we thought in a great way. What is consumption? The old man shakes his head forlornly. I am afraid my knowledge is incomplete, limited to legend and stories. I know it is a type of magic, not of the sisters, more powerful, untethered to the caster. It corrupts, it eats our world, spilling demons from below. But where did it come from? That I do not know. Okay. Why are holes appearing in the ground? Consumption magic circumvents the conventional link between caster and magic, instead drawing upon the world itself. Every spell cast by a corrupted wielder of consumption will obliterate another chunk of matter. Until our whole world is destroyed, Dorman Court appears to be most seriously affected, but evidence suggests these holes will begin appearing all over our lands. So, I mean, just looking at it from a story standpoint here, does that mean that when the wife outside used her magic and she was showing off for me and accidentally turned into the demon lizard thing, is it her spell maybe that caused the hole to open up underneath her husband in the house, essentially? Wow, interesting. What do you know about Duke Camersault? I believe Duke Camersault is the very same Camersault described in the legends of the Cataclysm. He is the son of King Mortifax, a prince of the Mortifax royal family. He was linked to the events that caused the Cataclysm and was instrumental in preventing the spread of consumption. By my reckoning, he must have been trapped with consumption underground, festering for centuries, most likely kept alive by the power of consumption. Now it has broken free, and Duke Camersault is an instrument of consumption. I believe he is spreading the power of consumption to anyone that is willing to accept it. He appeals to fear, greed, desire. Those that accept it invariably become corrupted, sometimes literally turning into monsters. Yeah, that much I've seen. What do you know about Old Mother? Not much, I fear. The religious texts refer to her only out of necessity to explain the origin of the sisters. Even something infinite must have a beginning, correct? But you ask, where did the Old Mother come from? That the text conveniently omit to explore. He adds with a low chuckle. Good point. What can you tell me about the sisters? The sisters are divine beings, creators of Ort. They are Asayaluma, or life, the source of all beginnings. Mere Akuria, or mind, the one that shapes our destinies. Shao Malak, or shadow, the harbinger of end and death. Things we did already know. What was the crystal that Master Slovo had? As you clasp it, you were dragged to another dimension and claim you spoke to the sisters and Old Mother. I believe it was not a crystal at all, but a teardrop shed by one of the sisters centuries ago. I believe these tears are the last connections between the sisters and Ort. If that is correct, it stands to reason there must be two more somewhere. How to find them, that is another matter. I wonder if we find those, then we'll be able to go back to that place and gain the power of the other sisters, potentially, and therefore opening up our abilities for types of magic we'll be able to do. Who rules over Ort? King Salaban Mortifax holds effective control over most of Ort, though economically it is the grasslands that matter most. The icy north is controlled by Queen Lagamuta of House Craventhaw. They are a hardy folk, the Northerners. They don't have much to take, yet they have had to historically withstand assault after assault from the south. Okay. Huh. We started a quest called Queen Lagamuta. She of the royal family Craventhaw lives in Castle Craventhaw in the northwestern parts of the Tarmacan taiga. Perhaps I should seek an audience with her to find out what she knows about the situation and if she can do anything to help. Okay. Both King Mortifax and Queen Lagamuta are old, very old. In fact, I remember them being old when I was but a lad. The records of a royal succession have been hidden or lost to time. Curiously, they share names with the king and queen that supposedly lived during the events of the Cataclysm. Royals are notorious for recycling names, and perhaps they were named in tribute of ancient legends. Well, I'll let you make your mind up about that, he says with a knowing look. Interesting. What is the history of Ort? My goodness. It is shrouded in fog. We have legends of the past, told as stories. Since then, it is as if the lands are in a fever dream. Days drift by unrecorded, and no attention is paid to the past or the future. I wish people would wake up! Wake up, Barty! Magic is thought to be a thing of stories, but I believe it is a historical record. It disappeared during the events of the Cataclysm when consumption first appeared in the world. I have pieced fragments of stories together into a sequence. Duke Camersault was the one to discover consumption. He shared the power with the king, who used it to attempt to conquer the north. Somehow the Craventhaw forces were able to use consumption as well. The two armies met in a pitched battle on the plains in the west. Both sides were unstoppable and they annihilated each other. The lands were scorched and are now known as the Russ. I can only speculate as to the events that led to the defeat of consumption. I believe Camersault was involved. Probably shocked by what he had unleashed, he confronted consumption in Dormant Court, and with the aid of the sisters, consumption was trapped underground, and with it, the Duke? Curious. Okay. We have learned a significant amount over a short period of time here. Huge fan of that lore dump. But let's get out here and get some action going. Hey! Oh, sweet. Okay. Knight takes 100 shadow damage. Sick. Ho ho ho! And oh, excuse me. Hey, we got a ring! Cracked band of the petrified stare. Huh. Excited to check that out and see what it ends up being. I wonder if it'll give us another... Oh, see you later! I wonder if it'll give us a new spell, or if it'll give us something else? Resistance to something? Alright. Northwest is the Tarmacan Taiga Temple and the Korpa Range. To the northeast is the court. To the southwest is Castle Mortifax, the mausoleum where our sister is buried, the Russ, the Trawad village, and the southeast is Dormant Court and the Academy. Okay. So here's the dilemma, right? Like all of these... all of these monsters, for lack of a better word, are former people, right? Like, we're literally just killing people. Wow. What an interesting game concept. I love it. hello, my man. Ever heard of the Hermit's Hut? It's a small house quite a walk northwest of here. Went over there with some friends when I was just a kid. Stuck up real close and looked in through the window. The house is tiny, but the insides are huge. Needless to say, we bolted. Okay. I'm gonna just, attack your boxes, if you don't mind. You don't mind, right? Cool. Full Zelda action. What's up, lady? Hopefully you don't turn into a monster. Strange man came through here recently asking if I'd seen some criminal accused of blowing things up. How would I know? I see loads of people all the time. Anyway, I wished him luck. He'll need it, and I sent him on his way. Last I saw, he was heading northwest. Okay. Ooh, another ring. Basic band of fitful sleep. Interesting. Alrighty, we've got some pretty cool sounding equipment.